Hi, my friends. It's your tour guide to the sci-fi side, me, Preston E. And today we're going to take another deep dive into the Mystery Science Theater vault for Mystery Science Theater Volume 6. Ooh. And we got a little something for everybody. We got teenage aliens, giant lobsters, giant leeches. We got a little bit of Western for all you shoot-'em-up cowboys out there. Yeehaw! But the biggest horror of all is Mr. B Natural in the Mr. B Natural collection. And as always, we are going to rate these movies each individually on the scale of 1 through 5 on the SOL Bone Scale. And then we're going to take an overall rating on the whole collection on a SOL Bone Scale rating of 1 through 20. So without further ado, here we go with Volume 6. Send them the volume, Frank. Send them the volume, brain guy. I don't have either one of those guys, so I'll just send you the volume myself. First up, we have Teenagers from Outer Space. Before we hop into that, though, we first get the always educational Invention Exchange between Hodson and the Bots and the Mads. Crow and Servo whip up the scratch and sniff report cards in both private and public school versions. I imagine my lunch would smell like tacos, but my math score would smell like the gas that follows. The Mads take the already creepy art of ventriloquism and combine it with the Recessa Anti-Dummy guaranteed to make sure any ventriloquist career needs resuscitation. On to the movie. This Season 4 episode shows the 1959 black and white film Teenagers from Outer Space. Now right away from the opening, I love this flick because it played some pretty familiar music from one of my favorite horror movies, Night of the Living Dead from 1968.
According to Irma Bombeck, all teenagers are from outer space.
That spaceship looks like a sun hat.
I think it's a photographer's umbrella.
It's a giant metal phone seat.
It's a Devo hat.
Of course, Night of the Living Dead wouldn't come until nearly a decade later, as this recycled library music still packs a punch throughout this film. But being an NOTLD die-hard fan, I kept waiting for a graveyard zombie to pop up and kill a nerd. We don't get that. However, we do get a race of aliens with some pretty scary guns with the ability to change any creature into bones. Talk about your ultra slim fast.
No, Michael Jackson will want to
These aliens come to Earth to colonize as they are tired of their oppressive society on planet Suxtania. Most of the aliens are buttholes, especially Thor, save for Derek, who is the sensitive one of the alien bunch. He likes long walks on the beach, classical music, and stopping his butthole alien brethren on making lunch out of the human race with giant lobsters. You knew eventually there would be a lobster uprising due to Red Lobster. This film couldn't afford to construct a giant monster, so its shadow is only seen casted by a normal-sized lobster, thanks to the magic of forced perspective. Derek escaped to a nearby town after he has conflicts with his alien a-hole brethren and meets friendly teeny bopper Betty Morgan and her equally friendly gramps, Grandpa Morgan, played by Harvey B. Dunn. And they allow this alien they just met to rent a room from them even though he doesn't have a job and only one pair of weird-looking space clothes. Derek's hostile crewmate Thor finds him and leads a wake of skeletal destruction thanks to his atomic disintegrator gun, which actually was from the Hubley toy collection from the 50s. Back in the 50s, even the kids were gangster and packing heat. Anyway, this dog-killing and pretty woman-killing fiend, Thor, gets his comeuppance when he is shot in a shootout by a bunch of officers, but a friendly, unassuming nurse nurses his wounds. He takes the nurse as a hostage. How's that for gratitude? But he dies anyway as he rows the car just as the heroic nurse escapes. Crazy alien student drivers. Derek kills the giant lobster with the toy gun juiced up with more power thanks to a telephone pole wire. Derek saves the day with his human companions and discovers he is the son of his planet's ruler. He sacrifices himself to destroy an invading fleet. This movie is a lot of fun with pure 50s cheesy goodness, thanks to a ridiculous monster that is a regular lobster, toy, prop guns, and taped-on spacesuits. Duct tape truly does fix anything, even in space. This movie is certainly charming, though, and the story moves quickly enough. Being a dog lover, I found myself rooting for Thor's death since he killed Cindy's doggy. Joe and the bots have a hoot of a time riffing this teenage space oddity, and I give it a 3 out of 5 on the SOL Bone Scale. Up next is Attack of the Giant Leeches from Season 4, but first up is the Envision Exchange. We get Joe Hodson and the bots giving us the SOL It's the Adolescent Kit, making sure that no matter what age you are, that awkward, high puberty voice, pimply teenage years that you enjoyed so much can be yours anytime you want it. We also get Dr. Forrester demoing the effect of leeches and stopping TV's Frank from smoking, even though he really wasn't a smoker to begin with. It's all just an excuse for senseless violence on old TV's Frank, and I'm all here for it. Now, for the movie. I'm not sure what the Sam Hill this has to do with giant leeches, as we get a professor, a lady reporter, and a scientist's scrappy little son, along with a naval lieutenant named Crush, investigate under-the-sea earthquakes. The kingdom of Atlantis is found to be the cause of these earthquakes hundreds of leagues under the sea, and robots are there too that look like the aliens from Invasion of Neptune, man. Oh wait, this ain't the movie. This is a serial called Undersea Kingdom. Okay, whatever. Let's get to them leeches. The movie sees a bunch of people in a rural town slowly disappearing as giant leeches start to really make the town suck even worse than it already sucked by sucking on the suckers whose lives suck enough to get sucked in by the leeching suckers. Well, that sucks. Meanwhile, a guy named Dave, who looks like an early prototype for Joe Don Baker, catches his wife Liz cheating on him with his supposed friend Cal. He forces his philandering wife Liz and his supposed friend Cal to get into a crick as he gets revenge on them by pointing a gun at them. It's bro code, man. The stinky cheaters are sucked into the water right before Dave was about to let them off the hook by the leeches. Cheating doesn't pay, kids. It sucks. Eventually, some dude named Steve and a doctor named Nan Grayson discover a bunch of leeches in caves under the swamp holding people hostage. Well, I think they're actually actors in black hefty bags. Anyway, it doesn't matter, as the leeches are soon blown up with dynamite, so that I can make this joke and say the movie both sucked and blew. Man, that was forced. These suckers get a 2 out of 5. Up next is Season 6, Gunslingers, Smothered in Gravy, Texas Styled. This one is definitely a rarity in MST3K, as it's one of the only few westerns shown. Before we go moseying to the ranch, let's take a look at the Invention Exchange. Servo, Crow, and Joe present the new wiffle craze, and boy do they have the wiffle balls to invent things like wiffle cups, wiffle hats, and wiffle cheese. Holy product problem, Batman. How will the wiffle cup work? The Mads, on the other hand, present the scanner planner, which he uses on the long-suffering guinea pig TV's Frank. Holy flatliner. By the way, the sound effect of the scanner planner is the same sound effect later used for Brain Guy. The movie itself sees the widow of a recently killed marshal temporarily taking up the position until a replacement can be found. An MST3K favorite, Beverly Garland, stars in this flick, and conflicts arise as she asks saloon owner Erica Page to close the saloon down for the night due to town ordinances. A butthurt Erica complains to her scrawny stooge Jake to hire a killer. He hires Kane. Rose shoots at Kane one night and apologizes to him as she thought he was another man she was searching for, and thus love begins. Meanwhile, Mayor Polk tells Erica she has overextended herself buying property along a proposed railroad track. Erica informs Kane that Sheriff Rose is the one she brought him in to kill. However, Rose's life may be spared if the track is a success. In the end, Erica tries to kill Rose, but a love-stricken Kane shoots Erica before she can pull the trigger. After Kane and Rose exchange fire, Kane dies knowing Rose did love him. But what would she have done if she hated him? One shudders to think, but I'm sure it would have something to do with the manly voice Kane singing in the Vienna's boy choir. Oh no, Mr. Bill! This movie moseys and trots along, stepping in cow patties along the way, but riff lines such as, "Only the good die young." Most of us are morally ambiguous, which explains our random dying patterns, stirs up good laughs while making you wonder if that quote would fit on a tombstone. Gunslinger gets a 3 out of 5 bones on the SOL bone scale, smothered in gravy. Texas style, yeehaw! Oh, by the way, did I mention that this episode was Joe Hotson's second to last episode as a series regular? I didn't? Well, remind me to later, won't you? And finally, we have this collection of shorts on the 4th disc called Mr. B's Lost Shorts. This collection of shorts was originally released by Best Brains Incorporated exclusively on VHS, remember those? Through the MST3K Info Club, remember that? It resurfaced on DVD in 2017 as part of the Volume 6 collection. This collection is probably my favorite of all the short collections, as we get the infamous Mr. B Natural, X Marks the Spot, Hired, Part 1, Designed for Dreaming, Johnny at the Fair, and Are You Ready for Marriage? First up, we have Mr. B Natural, which stars Betty Luster as the titular androgynous spirit of music. I sure love that word titular. It makes me Betty Luster. Anyway, Betty sure was anything but being natural in this short, as she dance pranced and sang her little pixie heart out trying to get young Buzz into the choice of music, even if it kills him, which it almost does. Buzz is played by Bruce Podwell, and his real-life parents play his parents in this short. Ain't that something special? You can thank CD Con Company for spawning this spirited sashaying sprite on us, as she has the energy levels that would make Richard Simmons seem comatose, and the cheerfulness that would make a stewardess seem as emotionless as Wednesday Addams by comparison. Rumor has it that young Buzz was driven mad by Mr. B Natural's demonic high-pitched laughs, and to this day is in confinement in a padded cell after he had a PSD moment at a Christmas parade as an adult and bashed some band nerds' heads in with brass instruments. Of course, that is just speculation, but it seems legit. If the joys of music isn't your thing, then maybe you are more suited to take a ride on the highway to hell in this short called X Marks the Spot. Witness a middle-aged man named Joe Dokes, who is more like a Joe Douche, with the reckless way he drives, completely not caring about his fellow man, woman, boy, girl, animal, vegetable, or mineral. However, his road-raging ways catch up to him as he is killed on a suburban street one day, conveniently on an X. Coincidence? I think not. He is taken to the afterlife court with his guardian angel, who reviews Joe's past driving record before an ethereal judge. The judge leaves it up for us to decide if Joe should get a second chance at life. Oh man, I didn't want to be in jury duty. Well, I voted why not anyway, because Joe sounds like a fun guy. Just put him in a cage with a bunch of other people who can't drive in go-karts like Flavor Flav, Amanda Bynes, Justin Bieber, Kylie Jenner, and Lindsay Lohan. Throw in Kelsey Grammer too and watch the hilarity ensue. I guarantee you, put that on TV, that's ratings. Got stuck. Third on the list is Hired, Part 1. Thrill, as a sales manager, can't get his salesmen to move the Chevys. As he complains that they don't have the drive he does. Drive, Chevy, get it? Whatever. And stare in amazement as he gets advice from his dad about what to do on a porch that night. Wait with bated breath through the movie Bride of the Monster as we get the shocking, nail-biting answer on the next episode before Manos Hands of Fate, which I'll review in full one day, or, just watch the thing yourself. But still, check in here. I need the views. I got a Shih Tzu to feed. Moving on. And the car themes just keep on driving on in this surreal short called Design for Dreaming. This 1956 industrial short produced to accompany the General Motors Motorama show for that year. And in it is a woman who dreams of a masked man who takes her to the Motorama at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel and to Frigidaire's kitchen of the future. And she's cleared for takeoff because as the woman is soaring through the dreamy air, I imagine she runs into Ebenezer Scrooge flying with the ghost of the Christmas past and Peter Pan with the darling kids, all caught up in a mid-air crash. Man, I'm morbid. Now we have Johnny at the Fair. A young Canucker ditches his parents out of boredom and meets some celebs like heavyweight boxer Joe Louis and Olympic gold medal figure skater Barbara Ann Scott. However, when he meets up with Stu Hart, he is taken to the Hart dungeon and taught real pain and real fear. Little Johnny flees in terror in this deleted scene and waits for his parents at the fair in the Lost and Found until they find him. Okay, that Stu Hart thing didn't happen. I got bored, okay? And finally, we have a short that asks that age-old question. Are you ready for marriage? Well, only if you're insanely rich and owed. Oh, wait, was that supposed to be a rhetorical question? Silly me. In this short, we get a high school senior called Sue and her beau called Larry who wants to tie the knot after Sue graduates. They could wait for Larry to graduate, but they want to marry before they're senior citizens. Hi-oh! Burned you good there, Larry. A marriage counselor discourages such tomfoolery, and I think the lovely couple eventually wind up together with other people. Plot twist, I think the counselor wants Sue for himself. What a creep. 3 of these shorts, designed for dreaming, X Marks the Spot, and especially Mr. B Natural, are classics and very hilarious. Hired Part 1, Johnny at the Fair, and Are You Ready for Marriage, while not quite as stellar as the other 3 I mentioned, are still quite watchable with some laughs. Final score for Mr. B Natural's Lost Shorts collection is a 4 SOL Bones out of 5. And the final overall score for MST3K Volume 6 collection is, drumroll please, forget it, I'm not in the mood, 12 SOL Bones out of 20. Thank you very much for joining me on this deep dive into the wild sci-fi side of Mystery Science Theater Volume 6. Please join me, Preston E., here next time as we take a look at Mystery Science Theater Volume 7. Let me tell you this, friends, it's gonna be heaven.